Hello everyone. This is Truth the Barber Artist, and welcome to the Whole Truth Podcast. It's been a while since I've done a podcast, so welcome everybody, first-time listeners. I appreciate you listening for the first time, and to my loyal listeners who have heard the podcast before, I appreciate you guys too. Thank you, and don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at Truth the Barber Artist, one word. And also on my YouTube at Truth the Barber Artist, and also on Twitter, Truth the Barber. Yeah, so follow me on there when you get a chance. Oh, and by the way, I do have a Facebook as well. You can follow my page at Truth the Barber Artist. Don't forget. Yeah, so let's get this podcast started. So did a state board yesterday. It was awesome. It was pretty smooth. Yeah, so in case you guys don't know, I am a state board examiner, which means I test barbers for their barber's license. So yesterday I did an exam, and there's been a lot of changes to the exam. It changes every year. They always take things in, they put things in, take things out. They just switch it up. But they're just, some things get harder, some things get easier. So did the test yesterday, and they have a lot of rules. One of the rules is, like for instance, if you drop a comb on the floor while you're doing the test, you're not allowed to pick it up. Another rule is before you weren't allowed to wet the hair when you're cutting it. Now you're actually allowed to wet it. And another one, which I was updated on, was shaving cream. You weren't allowed to use the clear gel, like the shaving gels that a lot of barbers use today. But now you're allowed to use them. Before you could only use white shaving cream, visible shaving cream, but now they're allowing you to use gels. Yeah, so another one of the rules that it's been updated for quite a while now, but this rule was active when I took my master barber's exam, which was if you cut somebody, you automatically failed. Now they don't fail you if you cut somebody. They fail you if you don't use the proper procedures to take care of the cut, which means you have to use gloves, your nick powder, and all that other stuff. So yeah. But I've been hearing rumors that they want to implement a writing part to the exam. Yep. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but if it does, it's going to change a lot. It's going to make it a little bit more time consuming to do your exam, and of course a little bit more challenging when it comes to the theory part of getting your license. So yeah, they want to add a theory part, which is a written part to the exam. So there'll be a practical, which means you'll be actually cutting somebody, and then they've been talking about it, they want to add a written part to the exam as well. But we'll see if that happens. For now, it is what it is. So a lot of students come from different schools, different barbershops, and they take this exam. Some of them come prepared, and some of them don't come prepared. So if you want to learn how to pass this exam, you can search on YouTube. They have a lot of great videos on YouTube, or you can go to a barber school and pay them to give you a refresher on the state board exam. Yeah, so If you're a barber and you're trying to get licensed, you could do it one of two ways. You can go and join together with a licensed barber and have him sponsor you, which means he's going to sign your apprentice application, and then he's going to sponsor you, which means pretty much that you're going to be under him. You'll be learning under him, and he's going to teach you. And then you have to be an apprentice for a couple of years, and then you qualify to take your master barber's exam. Another way you can acquire your master barber's license is to actually go to the barber school. And you join the barber school. Some barber schools have a 3-month program, others have 4 or 5, depending on your schedule. If you're a part-time student, you're probably going to have to go to the barber school for some more time, obviously, to make your hours, to complete your hours. So yeah, that is how you become a master barber. So I started doing the exam again. It's been a couple of months, and I did it a few years back, about 15 years ago. I was a state board examiner, but now I'm starting to do it again. I just joined back on the team. They accepted me back. Yeah, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I've been having a great time doing it. A lot more new rules to follow as a state board examiner. We really can't show, like, as some of you may already know, many of you already know, I am a comedian on Instagram. Yeah, so I'm used to recording funny stuff. And one of the rules that they told me directly was that I am not allowed to record any of the students or anything on the exam. I'm not even allowed to show their logo, which is understandable. That's cool with me. I like to follow rules, no problem with that. But yeah, a lot of things go on during the exam that it just makes you think sometimes how much people are really dedicated to what they do and how serious they are about their profession. Just like the look of determination on a lot of these young barbers taking the exam, how serious they are. Some of them are nervous, understandably. And our job as a state examiner is to calm them down and just let them know that they need to concentrate on what they're doing, and everything should go smoothly after that. Yeah, so we're trying to help people pass and acquire their master barber's license. We're not trying to fail anybody. And now it's an entry-level exam, so you just have to be entry-level. You have to show us that you're entry-level, and you should pass with no problem. Yeah, so that's one of the cool things that I did over the week. What other stuff can I tell you guys is going on with me? Oh yeah, I got my version of The Decision 2019 coming up. So I'm kind of taking a chapter out of LeBron James' book, and I am going to announce where I will be working next. So to update you guys, I am no longer at Tribeca as an instructor. Shout out to Tribeca though. I got a lot of love for them, and I'm really grateful for them for allowing me to do what I was doing there as far as comedy goes. And yeah, but it's time to move on, and let's see where it takes me. So I'm going to announce where I'll be working this week. Actually, Monday. Yeah, I should be announcing where I'm going to be working next because everybody's been asking me. So, yeah, it should be cool. And I'm going to start doing skits and working in the school, doing my videos the same way I was doing at Tribeca. So it was crazy the way it happened because the person from the other school reached out to me. They reached out to me, and it was a three-part interview. There was it wasn't a one-shot deal. It was multiple meetings, multiple negotiations, and that's one of the things that I try to tell barbers: try to get what you're worth. You know, you try to negotiate as best you can and try to get what you're worth, but always remember that you have to take into account what you're looking for and what the other person is looking for. So I listened to what the other person wanted, and I also expressed myself and what I was looking for, which obviously I was looking for a place that would allow me to continue to do what I do as far as social media, and that is my videos, my funny skits that so many of you enjoy, and I enjoy making for you as well. So yeah, that's one of the things that was necessary for me to really put out there to the school, that it was important that they be cool with it, and they obviously were, and that's actually one of the things that they told me they wanted me to do. So yeah, it's an awesome way to network, obviously, for the school as well. So yeah, they welcomed the fact that I wanted to do my skits in the school, and so I will be announcing that in the next few days on my social media, so you don't want to miss that. uh Other cool stuff, oh yeah, so I met through my friend. He plugged me into Chin Capone. Yeah, my friend Joselito the Puppet. He's on Instagram, all over the place really, but he plugged me into Chin Capone, and I ended up giving Chin Capone a haircut. So I went to his house. They called me over. He asked me, "Hey, I need a haircut. Can you hook me up?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." I went over, met his manager. He even had his driver there. So I gave all three of them a haircut and managed to talk to Chin Capone. We were hanging out and did what I had to do. And it was a cool experience. It's always a cool experience when you meet somebody new, and you know, someone who is high profile, which obviously Chin Capone, he's been on World Star like every other day. So yeah, he's doing a lot of big things, and it's cool to surround yourself with people who are positive and doing great things. You know, I'm always expressing to my students to keep your circle small, but keep it with people who are successful and they aspire to do great things. So just the bunch of people that were there with Chin Capone, the amount of people that were there, and you know, we were just talking, and great people, great, very smart, very business orientated, and yeah, so I really enjoyed meeting them, and so yeah, actually, Chin Capone called me for a second time to come and cut his hair, and yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing him again soon whenever he needs a haircut. But yeah, it's a great thing. So I also met Samai Clark. And Tamar Clark happens to be the youngest Globetrotter, the youngest Harlem Globetrotter ever. So she's 9 years old, and she balled with the Harlem Globetrotters. So I actually got to cut her dad. She brought her dad to the shop where I film my skits, and occasionally I'll do VIP clients there. So she brought her dad to get a haircut from me, and yeah, that was cool. So that was another great opportunity that I got to meet someone of her celebrity at such a young age. 9 years old. Imagine that. Can you imagine being 9 years old and being a celebrity? She's been on Good Morning America, if I'm not mistaken. She's been on the news multiple times. And she's verified. She's verified on Instagram. Yeah, she's legit. 9 years old. Hmm? Big things as a young kid. Yeah, so very cool. Very cool that I got to meet her dad and her. So me and her dad were talking about skits in the future. So maybe, you never know, I'll be doing a skit probably one day of a 9-year-old dunking on me. You never know. We'll see how that goes. Other cool things. Well, I found out my haircut, my work is going to be, my design actually is going to be on the next NBA Live. So if you guys are familiar with the basketball game, video games, 2K, NBA Live, my haircut is going to be on the next NBA Live. So NBA Live, I'm not sure if it's going to be NBA Live 2020 or 2021. So what happened was Krista Ace, happens to be my client, who also happens to be a former Harlem Globetrotter member, she came up to me and said, "Oh, listen, I'm going to be in a video game. They're going to have me on NBA Live. So what they're going to do is they're going to scan my haircut. They're going to record what I do, yeah, as far as my moves." And I said, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." So, I thought they were just gonna like record her and scan her. Like they put all the plugs on her body. They gave her the little black suit. Like I saw what they did. They flew her out to Canada, and they hooked up all these cool things to her. So just to record her moves, her basketball moves, her dribbling, and all that stuff. And then they put her in a separate room to scan her haircut, to actually scan her head, and just to put the fine details of her haircut on her character as well. So I said, wow, that's actually pretty cool. So they scanned my haircut, and it's going to be on NBA Live. So as soon as they drop the game that has her on it, that's gonna be my work there. So that's a pretty cool thing. I've never ever imagined that my haircut could be on a video game. Yeah, I never imagined that, but it's going to happen. So that's a big thing. That's big news right there. And what was cool about it is that they had other people there as well. They had Tory Lanez, and among other people. Yeah, so Tory Lanez was there too. He's gonna be in the video game as well. You're gonna be able to play with Tory Lanez in the video game. So that's big news. And okay, this is one of the things, because people are asking me, oh well, why is this such a big deal? What's the big deal? And I say to myself, I really don't do it to prove a point. I won my championships, I won my hair shows. I don't really do this to prove a point to anybody. What I do is I'm trying to show barbers, because there are a lot of great barbers out there, and a lot of them don't match the potential that they have. They don't try to accomplish more. They think that it's all about staying behind the chair and cutting hair and that's it. No, you can actually take this game to a higher level and you can make your brand big, bigger than what you could ever imagine. And that's what I like to do. Not only to inspire barbers, but to inspire my students and show them that there are so many more possibilities out there. And not many barbers can say that their haircuts have been in a video game. So to me, that's a big accomplishment. And it just shows people that you can do so much more, and it's all about motivating and inspiring. That's why I do the things that I do. And yeah, so that's going to be coming up soon. We got that coming on the game. Like I said, it should be in the 2020 version or the 2021 version. What they told Krissa, because Krissa asked them, "Oh, when is this going to happen? When am I going to be in the game?" And they actually told her, "Oh, well, we don't want to rush it because we've rushed things like this in the past, and it didn't come out well." So yeah, to the people at, I believe it's EA Sports, yeah, who controls the Live franchise. So they told her they don't want to rush it. Well, they want to take their time and make it look good and do it right. So I'm assuming probably definitely 2021 this should be out. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm gonna be looking out for that. I don't care. I'm still gonna probably check out 2020 or buy it. I'm just gonna cop it and just to make sure it's not on there. But I'm pretty sure it's definitely gonna be out by 2021. They said they might try to squeeze it into 2020 if they can, and they will. If it needs more work, they'll probably leave it. They'll wait till 2021. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so on the business side of things, I've been getting a few sponsorships here and there, and I've also had to drop some. I've had to drop some sponsorships because, some of these people are great to deal with. They're great business minded people who have companies or they have products that they wanna promote or whatever the case is. They want to get out there to the public, but a lot of them don't meet their obligations financially with their clients or their ambassadors. And it's sad because you would think that they are on top of the game, but so a lot of them aren't. And I'm still a rookie when it comes to the sponsorship stuff. I'm still pretty new at it. I just started getting sponsorships this past year, and I'm still learning the business aspect of this whole social media thing. But I do realize that a lot of companies tend to try to use you and take advantage and just to try and get as much as they can for as least as they can from you. So I'm slowly learning that. And yeah, anybody out there who's trying to do anything when it comes to social media, if you're trying to build a following and you're trying to make money from whatever it may be, from monetization or just sponsorships or whatever it is, just make sure that you're on top of it because they will try and take from you what they can and try to leave you with nothing. So, see, I don't play that. I don't play those games. If I'm going to, put you out there, if you're giving me a product to put out there for you, I'll do it. I'll do exactly what you need me to do. But, you just got to be on top of your side, And if you're not, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to take you, whatever ads I have, whatever it is that I have that I'm doing for you, I'll just take it right down and nobody will see it. So, I'm not going to, give you the chance to try and take advantage of my brand or my followers, and you're not really meeting your side of the bargain. Like I absolutely never would let anybody take advantage of people who support me. So that's a no-no, and not even for money. I would never, promote anything that is a terrible product, anything that sucks. I'm not gonna put it out there. I'm not gonna put my name out there on it if it's not good. And as an example, there was a razor company who invented a disposable razor, and I told them, listen, this is not a well engineered uh, product you have here. I told them, and I said, I'll do the promo for you, but you need to upgrade what you got going on here. And they took my advice and they did that. They came out with a second batch, and it still needed some work. So, I actually told them, listen, I'll hold off on doing the promo for you until you get it right. And then once you get it right, I'll be happy. I'll be more than happy to do the promo for you. See, but if it would have been somebody else, they probably wouldn't have cared. They would have just looked at the money. But I can't do that. I can't just look at the money and do it, and just put it out there with my name. So, that's just an example of how things work. But you're going to see a lot of that if you're going to get involved with social media and you want to build a following, whether it be through barbering or makeup or whatever it is that you do. Just keep in mind that you are going to have those people out there that are going to make you all these promises, or they're probably going to offer you free stuff, and they're going to ask you to promote for them. But just make sure that you don't get the worst part of the bargain. You don't want to, like I said, you don't want to be taken advantage of. Yeah, so all right, so let's jump into our first topic here. So over the weekend, some police officers in Harlem attempted to make an arrest. While they were making the arrest, people nearby, they had some water pumps going. They were outside staying cool with the fire hydrants or whatever the case was. And so they started throwing water at the police officers who were making the arrest. And even one of the police officers even got hit in the head with a bucket. Not sure if it was a metal bucket or a plastic bucket. I'm pretty sure it was a plastic bucket, but they hit the officer in the head with it. And as the police officers began to walk away, mind you, they didn't do anything to the people throwing water at them. As they started to walk away, somebody came up behind one of the police officers and dumped another bucket of water right over his head. So now the cops are actually in search of the people who did it, or they were in search of the people who did it, because they wanted justice. So update is that the 3 people that they were looking for in question who threw water on them have turned themselves in. They've turned themselves into the precinct. Yeah, so I can't imagine what they're going to charge these guys with. Assault and battery with the water, disorderly conduct with H2O. I have no idea what they're going to charge these guys with, but this is what I think about this situation. I think that a lot of police officers get a bad rap, and there are actually some good police officers who are trying to do their job and help people, but there's also a bunch of bad apples out there. But the fact that there are a bunch of bad apples, you got the officers that are trying to do their job, they're trying to, serve the public. I think they have to now deal with everything that comes along with the job. They have to pay for what the bad apples have done. And that's something that I can't agree with, And listen, I'm not saying that I have never been through anything with the police, I've been through some situations that I don't think were fair myself. I'm not only speaking from someone who's looking from the outside, and I'm also speaking from somebody who looked from the inside out. I can honestly tell you I've been treated unfairly by the NYPD. And you know, I dealt with that situation as best I could, and that's it. The past is the past. But you know, what I am gonna say is that they're taking it too far now. They're taking it too far because, you know, like I said, if something really does happen, the first person that people are gonna call for help is the police. You know, if anything happens, people are going to be calling for their help. If anything big happens, you know, if something major happens. So they are still there to help the public. And in that instance, in that manner, because of that, I feel that they deserve some sort of recognition, some sort of respect. You know, do not, like I said, do not think that I'm trying to be on their side, because I've been on the other side. I know what it's like to be disrespected verbally by a police officer. I know what it's like to have to go to central booking for something stupid. You know, so listen, no, I am not an angel. I'm not going to say I'm an angel, but at the same time, there was a lot of things that happened that I felt could have been handled differently, you know. And, you know, but I can tell you also that there was one situation where I treated them with respect and I was given respect in return. There was one time that one of my motorcycles, because I ride, you know, so one of my motorcycles had to be impounded because I forgot what it was. I think it was inspection combined with insurance. I don't remember what it was. I was young, but they had to take my bike in, and my brakes weren't working well. So I remember telling the police officer. There was a bunch of police officers. They came. They looked at my ID. They checked me out. They ran my license. Blah blah blah. So they had to take my bike in. And I told them, I was like, listen, because they had one of the other officers getting ready to ride my bike to the precinct, or whatever the case is. So I told them, listen, my brakes aren't working, so can you just let the police officer who's going to ride my bike, let him know that my brakes aren't working well. And, you know, I pretty much told them all the stuff that's off with the bike, you know, and I did it because I authentically did not want to see anybody get hurt riding my bike. You know, that would have probably been on my conscience. So, I mean, this guy probably has a family or whatever the case is. So, you know, I let him know. And I could tell you, when I got to the precinct, they actually put me in a different cell aside from everybody. Like, they had a whole bunch of group of people. They put me in a cell all by myself, and they even brought me a sandwich and a soda. And they said, hey, man, we want to show you some appreciation because you looked out for one of ours. So we respect that, and we just want to show you our appreciation. Thank you for that. And so, you know, I've dealt with that. I've dealt with the positive, and I've also dealt with the negative. You know, there was one time where I was at a red light, and they were arresting somebody, and they had the guy sitting down on the street. I don't know, I think they pulled him out of his car, and then they handcuffed him and they sat him down on the concrete for whatever reason. And I was waiting at the red light, and I'm looking at all this going on, and all of a sudden one of the police officers walks up to my car. And listen, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just waiting at the red light. So he walks up to my car. In front of my car, he stands and he says, what the fuck are you doing? Can't you see what's going on here? Move. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, what? Who the hell? I started looking. I didn't have anybody in the car with me, but I still looked at my passenger side, like somebody was sitting there. And I just looked and I'm like, who the fuck is he talking to? Is he talking to me? You know, so I was like, you know, I just avoided the situation. I could have been like somebody else and yelled out the window, shut the fuck up. Why don't you shut the fuck up? You know, I could have just started something, and I decided not to. I just waved my hand to him, and I was like, all right, I got you, bro. Because I already know if I would probably said something, he would have probably found a reason, just found a reason to take me in as well. So I avoided that situation, and I kept it moving. So that was just, so I'm just giving you an idea. Some people may say, oh, well, that ain't shit. You haven't been through nothing. You're probably right. That's not much of a situation, of a negative situation. But I tell you what was a negative situation. Another situation that I've been through was I had one of my crazy exes, and I don't, this is a kind of personal, but I'm still gonna share it with you guys. I had a crazy ex of mine that she stabbed my car with a butcher knife. You heard me correct. She stabbed my car with a butcher knife because I offered a ride to my friend's I offered a ride to my friend and his girlfriend. So it was him and his girlfriend in my car. And she thought, my ex at the time thought we were gonna go have a threesome with this girl in my car. So obviously she was stupid, but that wasn't what we were gonna do. I was actually gonna drop them off at the train station so they can go home. But I don't know where her mind was. It was in the gutter, definitely, but she thought that we were about to go have a threesome, which that wasn't the case. So anyhow, she comes downstairs with a butcher knife and stabs my car. So I did the thing that a lot of normal people would do. I wasn't going to do anything to her, obviously, because she's a female. I don't go that route. So I called the police because I had no other choice. And somebody just told me, listen, you need to call the police. I was just going to walk away and just go probably fix my car and forget about it. And then, of course, just delete her number. But my friends was like, man, you got to call the cops. You got to file a report, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, fine. Call the cops. The cops get there. And they run my license and they see, hey, you got a warrant out for your arrest because you got a ticket here for an no insurance card, and you never paid it, and you never followed up with it. So now there's a warrant out for your arrest. So we're gonna arrest her because she stabbed your car and messed up your property. But guess what? We gotta arrest you too. And I was like, what the hell? Are they serious? This is crazy. So yeah, that's just one of my most memorable moments back in the day that happened to me. So I could tell you that I haven't had all the best experiences with NYPD. It hasn't always been a positive experience with them. But it's cringy when I see people verbally disrespecting them and they are not doing anything. They're just sitting there and just taking it. It's a little cringy. And listen, I get it. I get that a lot of them are over the top. They're trigger happy. I see what goes on, the abuse that goes on. I see, all of the ugly things that happen out there that they do. But at the same time, we have to seek justice for those who deserve it. We have to seek justice for those who are treated unjustly and unfairly by the police. But at the same time, we have to carry ourselves like adults. We have to carry ourselves like adults and not people who deserve to get treated like that. And I don't agree with the stance that a lot of people take on how to treat police officers. Like me personally, I understand some of them are cool and some of them are assholes. I can honestly tell you that. But I'm not going to put myself in a situation to give them a reason to do something stupid to me or anybody who's with me, and it's just, to me, it's not a smart decision to try to antagonize or provoke anybody who has a gun. And that's pretty much what you're doing when you fuck with a police officer. So in that aspect, I can say I try to use my judgment. I'm not on that. I used to be on that when I was younger. When I was younger, I used to be on that. Hey, let's mess with the cops. Let's get chased. No, but now I'm a little bit more on a mature level, and I definitely wouldn't go that route. But at the same time, I think that, they should be brought to justice if they do something unfairly to the public or to anybody who's innocent or unarmed, for that fact. So, yeah, but if you guys have any opinions about that, you can drop a comment. Yep, that'd be cool. But we're gonna take a break, and we will be right back. And don't go anywhere, because we got a couple other topics that I want to talk about. We're gonna talk about Jay-Z and Meek Mill's new business deal, and we're gonna talk about the boxer who died right after his fight, Maxim Dadashev. Yeah, so don't go anywhere, guys. We got a lot more coming up. Hey, this is Truth the Barber Artist. If you're enjoying this podcast, please drop a like, a comment, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell. That way, every time I drop something new, you guys will be notified. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of the podcast. Hello and welcome back. You're listening to the Whole Truth Podcast with me, your host, Truth the Barber Artist, celebrity barber / sketch comedian / barber instructor, and barber state examiner. That's right. I do many things. But, okay, so we're going to jump into our next topic here. Found out recently, Jay-Z and Meek Mill are now partnering up to bring Meek's Dream Chasers label into the Roc Nation fold. The two signed papers Tuesday in New York City in front of a small media gathering at the Roc Nation's Midtown headquarters. It's a joint venture between Dream Chasers and Roc Nation. Meek will oversee the label and build a staff to sign and develop artists. The label will also handle its own operations, creative strategies, marketing, and business affairs. So Meek, 32, he's 32 years old, is also planning on opening a record studio for use by the label's artists. So this is groundbreaking news here. This is big. You got two of some of the big artists in the game joining up to make this happen, Jay-Z and Meek Mill. And this is going to be big. They're going to do a lot of great things together. I think this is a great combination, a great collaboration between these two guys. And so, yeah, we're going to see where this goes, where this plays out. The label doesn't have any artists signed yet. They also don't have a time frame of when they're going to get started. But they're jumping into the label business after having a major string of success. So we're going to see where these guys take it. I was a little surprised when I heard about this, but because it's Philly and New York, collabo. But yeah, I was very surprised that it was done so quickly. So Meek Mill's rise in the music world has been stopped short by a few issues, a few lingering legal issues stemming from drug and gun possession charges. Upon his most recent release from incarceration, he and Jay-Z created the Reform Alliance to lobby for changes in laws and policies concerning parole and probation. So that's pretty major. He's taken his negative experiences and turned it into positive. Um, so Meek Mill says, and I quote, "Coming out of prison, I felt I had a responsibility to lead the culture as much as I can. And he also said Jay-Z and others that came before me were like the snowplow that made it easier for me and others. I want to be the snowplow of the next generation, taking on those responsibilities, trying to move forward and push the culture forward." End quote. Yeah, so a lot of cool things happening in the music world. A lot of great things. I'm looking forward to hearing more from them and also seeing what else they got in store. But yeah, this is a very exciting moment in the world of music, and we will see what happens. If anything else does transpire, I will keep you guys updated. Okay, moving on. Uh, Maxim Dadashev fought Sobril Matias this past Friday. Dadashev fought Matias in the 140-pound elimination fight, and the fight was stopped in the 11th round. Buddy McGurk, who happens to be the trainer who happens to be Maxim's trainer, stopped the fight. He actually had to convince the fighter to stop the fight because he wanted to continue, but he had already taken a lot of punishment, and Buddy McGurk obviously noticed that he was taking too much punishment and it was time to stop the fight. So Maxim actually did not give him an answer. He just kept saying no, that he wanted to continue. So Buddy McGurk took it upon himself to go and tell the referees and the judges that he was throwing in the towel. So that was a good thing. He decided to stop the fight because the boxer was taking too much punishment. And what happened immediately afterwards was Maxim went to his corner and he started looking disoriented. Like I saw the footage of the fight, and he just looked disoriented. He looked out of it. He looked exhausted. Didn't look in good shape. And it was a good stoppage. I think it was a great stoppage. And there were actually no signs. Like I watched the whole fight. There were no signs during the fight that there was something terribly wrong. And the kid fought with heart. He fought very well. And it just looked like any other fight that was going back and forth, like a brawl. So in that aspect, there was no way for you to tell that something bad was really happening to this young man. But in any case, going back to after the fight was stopped, uh, Dadashev was sitting in the corner and looking disorientated. So they brought a stretcher. They called the paramedics. He couldn't walk out of the ring by himself. And his trainer and I believe Buddy McGurk also helped carry him to the back where the entrance of the tunnel was. So they walked him all the way back there. He actually walked back there. And that's when they brought the stretcher. They put him on the stretcher. Like he tried to walk by himself, but it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. They put him on the stretcher, and as soon as they put him on the stretcher, he started throwing up. He started throwing up. Now, I don't know. From my football experience, that is probably an indication of a concussion. But when he threw up, there was actually blood. He had thrown up blood along with whatever else he had eaten, but it didn't look good. And so right after that, they put him on the stretcher and they carried him away. So the fight happened on a Friday night, and then sadly, unfortunately, on Tuesday, he passed away from excessive bleeding in the brain. I mean, they tried to do surgery, but he ended up passing away. And yeah, my condolences goes out to his family. And it was a very sad report when I heard that. The thing is about boxing. Boxing is has always been dangerous. And and this goes back to other unfortunate events that have happened in boxing. I believe there were several other deaths in the ring that happened, and in the past, in history. So it's not the first time that somebody has died. One of my most memorable fights that I actually saw that something similar happened was, uh, I believe it was back in the 80s, Boom Boom Mancini versus Dooku Kim. And so Dooku Kim was a great boxer from Korea, and he came to fight Boom Boom Mancini, who was pretty much the golden boy back in those days. He was a very, very great fighter. And back then, the fights used to go 15 rounds. So these guys were going back and forth, back and forth. It looked like a scene out of a Rocky movie when they were fighting. And they were going back and forth. And the fight, I believe, yeah, it went the distance. It was either 14th or 15th round. But what happened was Dooku Kim got knocked down, kept getting back up, got knocked down, and yeah. So unfortunately, Dooku Kim ended up passing away, very similarly to Maxim Dadashev's situation. He ended up passing away from his injuries, from his head injuries, due to the fight. So, and that was just that was just the whole tragic situation. Not to get off the topic with Maxim Dadashev, but I'm trying to bring a little bit of light to how much this profession, this sport, can affect people. So, the referee from that Boom Boom Mancini Dooku Kim fight ended up committing suicide as well. Yeah, he committed suicide. I believe he shot himself in the head because he felt guilty that he didn't stop the fight on time. He felt that he could have stopped the fight earlier, but he didn't. And because of that, Dooku Kim ended up passing away. Yeah, so, and unfortunately, also, Dooku Kim's mom, I believe, shortly after the death of her son, she also died from sadness, from a broken heart. I mean, this was what I read. And yeah, it was just a whole tragic event. And Boom Boom Mancini, he was one of my favorite boxers back then, and it just wasn't the same. He just wasn't the same after that. He wasn't the same fighter after that. It looked like he was afraid to punch people. He just wasn't the same boxer ever again. And I can really imagine why. I can understand why. And he showed his respects to the family of Dooku Kim and to the people of Korea. And they actually turned around and made a movie about that fight. Yeah, so they made a movie about that fight in Korea. And I believe he won an award for that movie as well. I'm not sure how they honored Boom Boom Messi. I think they made a statue for him out there or something, but it was just the respect and the class that he showed. He wasn't acting like, oh yeah, good for him, yeah, I knocked him out, whatever. Like, he actually had class. And yeah, so, but going back to Maxim Dadashev's situation, you know, I'm an old school boxing fan, and I was a fan of the Sugar Ray Leonards, Marvin Haglers, and all those guys, and I really appreciate a great fight. But when things like this happen, it's very unfortunate, and there's not really much that the boxing commission could do. They're doing the best they can. They got the rules already set up in place where boxing is already not what it used to be. They don't let people actually go at it until the end. And, if they're injured, 9 times out of 10, they will try to stop the fight if the other boxer doesn't defend himself. But it's not like back in the day where they actually gave you a chance to try and fight your way back or give you a chance to recover. That doesn't happen now. So, but it's still entertainment and it's still one of my favorite sports. But it's just sad when things like this happen. It's very sad. And the young man, he was very young. I believe he was 24 years old. Yeah, 24 years old. So I'm not sure what the other fighter, what Matthias's reaction is. I haven't looked that up, but I'm pretty sure he's uh, pretty saddened by that. I can't imagine what it would be like to be in that situation where you're responsible for killing someone in the boxing ring. That's a very sad situation. But there's nothing more they can do. They can probably try and make it shorter rounds. They'll probably, just like they did back in the day, they went from 15 rounds to 12 rounds, and then maybe now they'll try to go from 12 rounds to 10 rounds. Who knows? But that would just completely finish killing the sport. I mean, it's already going down the pipe. It's going down the drain. UFC is taking over. MMA is taking over. I think MMA is already starting to surpass, if not already surpassed, boxing. So, in my opinion, I actually enjoy watching MMA more than I do enjoy watching boxing because, I don't know, for some reason, boxing is just watered down now. Like I said, it's not what it used to be. And if you guys don't believe me, go back and watch some of the old fights. Go watch the Tommy Hearns versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Go watch Hagler versus Durant. Go watch, go watch those guys, and you'll understand. You'll understand. It's not the same. But, yeah, so it's just sad when you see something like this happen, and just don't, you hope it doesn't happen again. So, hopefully, they will try to deal with this as best as they can. I feel that Buddy McGurk did the best he could. He actually convinced him to stop the fight. Well, he didn't convince him, but he took it upon himself to stop the fight. And it was just a little too late. Too little too late. Yep, so it's very sad. All right, so that pretty much ends this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the topics and what I spoke about. And yeah, leave your comments and your likes. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell for notifications when I post something. And give me a follow on my social media. Instagram at Truth the Barber Artist, one word. YouTube at Truth the Barber Artist. Twitter, Truth the Barber. and on my Facebook page at Truth the Barber Artist. All right, so thanks you guys for listening. Until next time, take care, everyone, and stay blessed.